Hello, Cliff in Hayes.
Hello, Gaunty. Good show as always.
Well, yeah, but some people, sometimes you've got to look over party allegiance, haven't you? And maybe not. Anyway, what do you want to say about this El Quds March this weekend?
Right, well, I've been on the peaceful counter demonstration to this march since 2011, and where the police say that they have had no complaints about it, they have, because I personally have put them in writing. I even went down to the police station 2 years ago in Uxbridge after the Al Quds parade with a Hezbollah flag that came into my possession on the day, explained to the officers the breach of the Anti-Terrorism Act, because it's a breach if you're showing support for or slogans supporting a prescribed terrorist organisation, which Hezbollah are. They didn't know what to do. So I then got in touch with my MP, who at the time was John Randall in Uxbridge, and he very kindly got in touch with the Home Office. I've got a whole dossier here with letters from Home Office ministers such as Mike Penning MP telling me that it's their freedom of speech. Well, I believe in freedom of speech, but not when you're breaking the law. And I've physically on this march seen them break the race relations laws, the anti-terror laws, and one law I don't particularly agree with, but they still broke it, which is Section 5 of the Public Order Act, which is using words or actions that can cause distress or offence.
So why wasn't your complaint taken seriously?
You tell me. I don't know. I mean, I've got all the paperwork here. I've even got the badge numbers of the officers who took the complaints, and the police said that it's a matter for the Home Office. The Home Office said it's a matter for the police, and they bounce it backwards and forwards between the two of them and do nothing. I mean, I've even had on the day I had a police officer at one of the events turn around and admit to me, yes, you're correct, an offence is being carried out. I said, well, you're a police officer. Are you going to enforce the law? And he said, well, have a look how many marchers there are and how many there are of us. If we start arresting people, then this could get out of hand and we'll have a major public order problem. So effectively what they were saying was they didn't have enough officers to police it properly, so anything goes.
And what about this argument about marching the flag with the flag? Is it the same flag for the political wing as the terrorist wing?
It is. In fact, I've been on the counter demo with Joseph Cohen for the last 2 years. That flag that he talks about, I've got one here. And it is a yellow and green flag with the fist with the upraised AK-47. It is the flag that you will see on pictures in the Middle East on the back
let's
of
cut
wagons.
to the quick then. Do you believe that people should be able to walk through London this Sunday with that flag?
Not with that flag. If they want to protest and put their point across, yes. But that flag is a clear breach of the anti-terror rules.
Okay.
Sadiq Khan was challenged in the London Assembly last year about this by Peter Whipple and David Curtin. They challenged him on it. Sadiq Khan, straight away, it's the political wing. Well, half the people who sit on the so-called political wing are also on the military wing. There is no distinction. It's
absolutely mental. Thank you, Cliff, for talking about it. Anybody else want to talk about that march this weekend where evidently they've got this terrorist flag, Al Quds? It's been going on for years. I remember when I was on BBC London, we talked about it. So they're going to march through London with a terrorist flag, with a machine gun and a fist, and calling for death to the infidels. I shouldn't be laughing, should I, really? But there we are. It's a crazy, crazy world, my friends. And it's a crazy world at the moment as well, down in Kensington and Westminster. Protests are taking place in the town hall. People are beginning to throw a few things around now. Let's not build it up too much. It's not a riot at this stage, but people are obviously very angry, and people are being told to issue calm. Now, we've invited Katie Hopkins onto the show today because I know she's been down to the Tower Block talking to the people, but she's also been watching this unfold on TV, and I'm delighted to say Katie Hopkins from the Mail joins us now. Hiya, Katie.
Hi, how you doing? All right.
Not too bad. What's happening then? Is it really kicking off? And who's speaking to the people, and why are they so angry? What are their demands?
Yes, so there's protesters now at the council offices. They've just stormed through into the council offices, but that's not really the headline. They have three or four basic demands. One, they want immediate rehousing of people within the borough. The council have responded on a piece of paper and said they'll be as close as possible. Two, they want immediate release of funds to take care of needs. Again, the council's come back with a written reply. And I think the most important thing, and I think the thing that is going to kick off if someone doesn't get down those stairs with the register right now, those people, missing children, family, mums, dads, want a register of names. It doesn't seem like a lot to ask for. The council have said no, that's a matter for the coroner. But I think that above all of that, is they just need someone to get down those stairs and stand in front of them. And I really feel that's what's missing here. People are hiding in their offices. I really believe that's the worst thing you can do.
It ties in with two things, really, then. It ties in with the fact that Theresa May went there yesterday and didn't bother meeting the families. And it also, I guess, ties in with what Lily Allen said last night on Channel 4. Why are the mainstream media playing this down, saying there's only 17 or 30 victims, when people know it's well over 100? What was the sense you got when you were down there?
Yes, I was down there before Lily Allen, and of course the others decided to pile in, and Beckham recently, I think, has rocked up just to make sure his name is in the picture. Just speaking to local people, when I was down there, so that must have been only 12 hours after the fire, they were saying, local people, 100 to 200 plus missing. A lot of the people I spoke to there who lived in there's 1 and 2 bedroom flats. These 2 bedroom flats typically seem to have between 6 and 8 people staying in them, plus the mother-in-law, plus someone else on the sofa. Yeah. So the numbers actually there are obviously going to be much higher. I estimated early days that I reckon the death toll will come to 200 plus, but of course we'll never know the real number because so many invisible people will have simply turned to dust without ever being counted. But I think what is concerning at the moment, what I really felt when I walked there the other day, you walk through the splendour of Kensington and Chelsea, you go down the hill and into this sort of pit from hell. I can only imagine the anger now accumulating in that pit from hell, and if I was in one of the splendid boroughs, I would be concerned for my property, for my safety, for my family, because this anger, I think, will boil over because no councillor paid by us has simply had the personal accountability to come down, to man up, to look these people in the eye and to try and say the things that they need to hear. And this register is the register of the people who the council believe are missing, is it? No, this is the register the council have of people known to be living in the residence. Exactly, and that will never be a complete list, as we'd all know. It would at least be a list, and that's the list that's being withheld, and that's the list that they're going to stand and protest until they get. Why are they withholding it? Their view is you've got to wait until the coroner has his inquest. That would be procedural. That would be correct procedurally. I think we all know how this sort of narrative works, and it works by trying to keep people calm and focused on doing the right things. Sadiq Khan showing his face for 5 minutes, running away when things got thrown at him. Let's attack Theresa May just because she hasn't got a picture of her cuddling someone. Ultimately they're trying to control the narrative on this. The unfortunate thing is when you have a building that turned itself into a candle with people inside, you cannot control the narrative. The best you can do is honesty, and that means releasing that list. And also, you can't control it when we have a thing called the internet and alternative media. And there are accusations there's some form of official or unofficial D-notice amongst the mainstream media. Have you heard those rumours? Yeah, you hear lots of rumours, and of course, any of us can only ever present the truth as we see it. We know that. But I think what is not helping, and the tension, I've just been listening to the chants, the shouts going up from the crowd, this number of 17. I respect 17 dead is the official number, but you cannot stand in the shadow of that building and listen to the mainstream media tell you 17 without literally wanting to hit out at someone because it's so ludicrous it cannot be believed. And a lot of these people who are now protesting feel that this wouldn't be the case if this had been in a luxury block, say, on Canary Wharf or just down the road in Chelsea itself. There is something grim about that. There is something grim about the fact that 8.6 million was spent on recladding a building so that it looked more polite for the eyes for everybody else. In. Yeah. Exactly right. And that people inwards looking out were always aware of the problems, tried to get help, couldn't. But the people looking in felt better about their environment because that place looked a bit tidier, even though it was clad in effectively stuff that's more flammable, than stuff we have in our own homes. It's a madness. Yeah, and we all know, don't we, that what's actually happening in London and in a lot of major cities now, there's a kind of ethnic cleansing of that lower working class. They're kind of being pushed out of these neighbourhoods deliberately. Yeah, well, I think there's all sorts of issues going on. You've got a mayor who's saying, refugees welcome, everyone's welcome, come in, our borders are open, but doesn't actually think about where those people are going to go.
Live, yeah.
So they end up in these high-rise. You've got people like Lily Allen there trying to whip up trouble because it suits their agenda. I think she should probably give up the keys to her home. And then I think you've also got the problem that they've just brought into power in Kensington a Labour MP, the same Labour MP who was sat on the Kensington and Chelsea Management Authority in 2012. So they've kind of, there's an argument that says, well, you reap what you sow. What's she doing in power, for goodness sake?
Is there a solution to all this?
Well, the solution right now is get down there with the register. That needs to happen now. The second solution, of course, you'd be manning up with the riot police, and I would have them in Kensington and Chelsea right now. And I think then the solution is that by the end of the week, all buildings with any of this cladding, with any issues, are being visited and a plan being put in place to resolve those issues. But I think right now it's about managing the anger of the people who have lost people, who are hurt, and the way to manage that anger is not to lie and not to placate, but to be very, very honest, very quickly indeed.
But undoubtedly there's going to be a riot if they don't organise something very quickly.
Yeah, yesterday I was warning that there will be a riot. Today I believe there will be a riot. And I have to say, for the first time in my life, none of us condone anarchic protest, but I do sympathise with those individuals. If it was my baby, I would ask your listeners, if it was your baby, your child, your 7-year-old, your 8-year-old missing, would you really be sat indoors somewhere watching the telly, or would you be stood right there with those people demanding answers? And I know where I'd be.
And just before you go, of course, at the weekend on Sunday, we have the Al Quds March. Al Quds Day March. What do you make of that? Marching through London with the terrorist flag of Hezbollah.
Exactly. I think, Sadiq Khan shows his true colours time and time again. We were all sold the line, weren't we, when he got elected son of the bus driver, son of the bus driver. I think what we see is his religious allegiances played out time and time again through the streets of London. Hezbollah now will be celebrated as a parade through the streets. I do wonder, have we not had enough drain on the police resources? Now we will also have riots to be dealing with. Do we need to be celebrating other terrorists in the same week, virtually, as we've had London Bridge? The answer to that, of course, is no. And I will carry on with my campaign to try and get Sadiq Khan ousted as mayor. He's not mayor of my capital city, and I don't think he represents the people of Britain.
It's good to see you still shooting from the lip, Katie. It's been a delight having you on the programme. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me on. Take care.
You didn't, frankly, have the balls to put country before party.